I'm djTLM, and this is Share the Knowledge. What's going on, everyone? It's your boy djTLM, and you're checking out the Share the Knowledge podcast. And today I want to talk tech. Namm 2018, I think it was last week in LA. I was just checking out a bunch of videos. Of course, Namm is where a lot of brands introduce some of their new products, or they demo actual products that we already heard about. And a lot of stuff went on. I'm not going to go through everything, but I do want to talk about some of the main things that interested me. And one thing that really caught me by surprise and I feel could be a real game changer. Now, if you're familiar with what I do online, especially on YouTube with djTLMtv, then you know that I'm an advocate of tech. I love new technology. I feel it's important and it can help with the creativity as far as DJing. And I just love to try out new stuff. I feel it's great when different brands come to the market with new equipment, new tech, because it always puts a little bit of pressure on the ruling brands to make sure that they keep their stuff up to date or start being more innovative as well. And I saw a couple of things that we already heard about, but I got to see just a little bit more about them. And one of the first things I really want to talk about, of course, is Rane. People have been waiting for Rane to come out with new equipment for a while now. Of course, Rane was one of the standards when it came to DJs who were using Serato. In the beginning, a lot of DJs were using the TTM57 and, of course, the SL audio interfaces, the SL1 and later on the SL2, 3, and 4. Those were like standard for your Serato user. Nowadays, that's a little bit different because, of course, you have a lot of mixers that will have that integrated audio interface that will work with Serato and will allow you to use Serato without having that separate audio interface. So, for instance, over here, I have a DJM 900 SRT that's especially made for Serato. If you would have like a normal 900 Nexus, you can get the Serato Club Kit and get it to work. My S9 will work with Serato, and you have a lot of other equipment. But Rane, of course, was one of those brands that was really synonymous with Serato for a long time. And I think over a year ago, they announced, or at least they started to tease with a new scratch mixer, new battle mixer that was coming out. And of course, the talk of the town, and let's just address that elephant in the room straight away, was that it really resembled Pioneer's DJM S9. Now, in the last couple of years, the S9 has really taken over the market. Now, I'm not talking market share. I have no idea when it comes to sales. But if we're supposed to go off what we can see online, when you see DJs post routines on YouTube, on Instagram, you name it, a lot of DJs have either switched to the S9 or made the S9 their first real mixer to use with Serato. I use it myself. To me, it is my favorite mixer of all times. I really, really love it. So do many others. So when we got the first glance at what Rane was going to bring to the market and we saw their new improved scratch mixer, you have no chance, no option not to notice that it really, really looks a lot like an S9. As far as the form factor, as far as the performance pads, it really resembles that. Now, to be honest, this is important because, yes, I feel the same way. I can see it. But let's be honest. Why do we always expect brands to come with something that will look totally different? Because when it comes to performance, and if you use the S9, you already know this, you want to have those performance pads and you want to have them right where they are. You don't want to have them lower because they will get in the way of your scratch path, so to speak. If you have a scratch mixer, everything on the mixer real estate around the crossfader is going to be kept clean. So you have all the room for your hand movements. So of course, your performance pads have to be above that. So if Rane decided to put performance pads on their mixer, that is the only logical place they can put it. And if you look at controllers, most controllers will have their performance pads in the same location. They're going to have them either below the jog wheels or right above the jog wheels. And a lot of controllers from different brands look almost the same. So there's not really much room to escape that unless you come with something that has a totally different form factor. But then you're going to have to design a mixer that might not be pleasing to most turntablists in this case, because we like to have our faders where our faders are. We want to have those performance pads where they are. I couldn't imagine how they could have done this differently. But still, that's the first thing on your mind when you see it. Now, next up, it also has, and the official name, by the way, is the Rane 72. It has a display in the middle. That display really reminded me of my old favorite mixer, and that was the Pioneer DJM909, because it had that exact big display in the middle of the mixer. Now, of course, this display looks a lot better. It's a lot newer. I don't have the specs. I don't have the spec sheet. It might be out already, but I don't have that here. But it looked really good, and it packs a lot of information. It allows you to change a lot of things on the mixer, parameters as far as effects goes, as far as your fader curve on the channel fader and crossfader, but it also allows you to see your library on your laptop, so you can scroll through your songs, and you can also see the waveforms. So in a way, it can replace your laptop screen, which means that even if you're searching for songs, you don't have to look away from the mixer. Now, that is very, very cool. That is the one thing that I really appreciate when I look at that new mixer. Now, like I said, it resembles some of the things that I saw on the 909. So, for instance, it also has the dual effect processors, so you can assign a different effect to channel 1 and a different effect to channel 2 at the same time. Now, this is not new. The 909 had that. It had 2 effect processors in there. It had 50 effects. You could assign them to either one or channel 2 and have different effects on both channels, or you could assign 2 effects to one channel at the same time. So it had a pretty cool set of features right there. And you could also change the fader curve on your display. You could really adjust that curve any way you wanted it to. And Rane has done something similar. Looks really good. Now, the one thing I still need to check, I will assume that it's going to be on there. They didn't mention it in the videos I saw, is the dual USB, but I can't imagine that it won't be on there, because the 62 had that. I think the 68 had that. This is what DJs need. If you want to have DJs play on that same mixer, you want to have the dual USB inputs. So I assume that it's on there, but I'll look into that later. But just overall, looking at the mixer, yes, it has a lot of similar features, but it had a lot of stuff on there I like. You can also use it as a standalone player, actually. So you can use that 72 as a controller. So if you don't have turntables or CDJs near, or if something happens and they're not working, or you just have a small party and you just want to bring one device, you can use the mixer. And one of the modes on the performance pads turns the performance pads into transport mode, which will allow you to select play, stop, allows you to nudge forward and backward, change the pitch. So you can actually play and mix tracks just by using the mixer, so without players. So pretty cool feature, although to be honest, most people who will be buying the 72 are not buying it to use as a standalone controller. If you want a standalone controller, you want one with jog wheels, or you're going to have your turntables connected to this mixer. So one more thing I do want to mention, I saw one of these videos for the Rane 72, and as they were going over the mixer, they were talking about one of the functions, and that it was made specifically for Serato DJ Pro. Now, this was the first time I heard about Serato DJ Pro, so as of this moment, I really have no idea what's going on, what exactly, what we can expect from Serato DJ Pro, but it lets us know that Serato is working on a new version of Serato. So I don't know if it means that Serato will get an upgrade and turn into Serato DJ Pro, or that you're going to have the option to buy different versions of Serato DJ. We'll see. I saw some forums, and I also saw that people could apply, so I'll probably apply it to be one of the beta testers if that still is open. But I also saw that most of the people in there have to sign some sort of NDA. So even if I test that beta version, I still can't talk about it. But as of now, I have no idea. But I hope they add some new features. I know there's certain features out there that people really want to see in software. I see that there's new things that could be done. So we'll see what's in Serato DJ Pro. That will probably be announced soon, because if that Rane 72 has a function for it and that's coming in March, then I expect that we'll hear from Serato before March. Now, next up, of course, this is what everyone was talking about as well, is that Rane announced their new player, and this is the Rane 12. Now, the Rane 12 is a controller, a player controller with a moving platter. So it basically resembles a turntable, but you have no needles that you have to put on vinyl. The platter just spins. It's a 12-inch platter, and the information of the movement gets translated to the software. So this is not something that's new. It looks really cool because the styling looks nice. It fits perfectly with that 72. When you see the set together, it's a real sexy looking set. But the technology, of course, is not new. Just look at Newmark with their NS7 line and their standalone player that they had, the V7, did the exact same thing. The only difference is the NS7 and V7 had a 7-inch platter, and the Rane 12 has that big 12-inch platter. So it's a little bit more appealing. You have a little bit more real estate for your hands. It actually feels like a 12-inch. Looks really good. Had some extra features on there that allow you to control some of the software. So very cool. And I wonder if they borrowed some of the tech from Newmark, maybe, since Newmark and Rane are owned by the same company. But those are not the only players. Denon also had their SE3900. You had similar things. I believe Newmark had, I think it was the CDX. That was a CD player, but you controlled it with a moving platter on top. And there was one more, I believe. I think Technics also had like a CD type of player with a moving platter on top. But I love the tech. If it actually feels as accurate as they say it does, I feel it's a great addition to have to that market, to have an extra option if you're going out and you want to buy turntables because you like the turntable feel. But maybe you don't want the hassle anymore of having to get new records every time, needles not working, faulty connections, whatever. I've had it all happen before. With that Rane 12, you eliminate some of those flaws because now you don't have to put your needle on vinyl anymore. There's no needle at all. Also, if you have this setup at home, a setup like that, same with like the NS7 and V7, it's a lot safer if you have kids around. I had my son, when he was just 2 years old, do a video on my NS7, and at 2, they're reckless. They go hard. So I would not just let him near my turntables, put needle on vinyl and stuff like that. But with that NS7, I could just let him do his thing because he couldn't really break anything. That video actually killed all my views because that's my best watched video ever. And it's not me, it's him. I believe he's at like 800,000 or more. So my son's video is going to be the first to reach 1 million one day, way before my videos. But again, he could do whatever he wanted to and not really break anything. So same with that Rane 12. It's a pretty safe, rugged device that you won't break easily. It's no tone arm that could break or bend or anything. So overall, it's coming in March. I believe that player was like $700 or $799, and that mixer was like $1,800 or $1,900, I think. I'm not sure. So it's not going to be cheap, but none of the Rane mixers ever were, and Rane and Pioneer really share that. The equipment is really not the cheapest out there, so it is a pretty hefty investment if that's going to be the set that you get. But it looked great, and what I could see from the people who tested it, like the real turntablists who tested it, they sound very positive. So hopefully I get to test that in the near future as well. But it's coming out in March. Now, I saw a lot of different things flash by. I took a look at some of them. I still have to take a look at some more videos. I saw Reloop stepping into the scratch market with like an official scratch mixer, the Reloop Cut. Yeah, I'm definitely going to see if I can test stuff like that as well. I saw other brands that I haven't tried before, and this year I'll try to do a lot more reviews, see if I can get my hands on as much equipment as possible. But the thing that caught my eye more than anything at Namm this year, and I wasn't there, I just saw the videos, but I started to see these posts on Instagram of this small little device that you can place on top of your vinyl on your turntable, and it registers the movement of the platter. Now, this is called Phase. I believe the company is MWM, and they're the same company that made Mix Fader a couple of years ago. That was like that wireless fader. This is a small device that you place on top of the platter, and it sends a signal. It sends the information of the movement to a receiver, and that connects to your DJ software. And if I saw correctly, it works with Serato, Tractor, and some other software. So basically, this will give you the same functionality as that Rane 12, but you don't have to buy a Rane 12. Any turntable you have right now, you can use it. And again, you won't need to use the tone arm and the needle and put needle on the vinyl and stuff like that. No, you just put the turntable, put the platter on the turntable. So your vinyl, whatever piece of vinyl you have, you place that little device on top. You hit play, it starts to move, and your DJ software will see the movement and play the track. Again, I saw people test this. It looked crazy accurate, and I even saw some people just take the vinyl off the turntable and just move it around in the air, and it would still play the track back and forth because it still registers that movement. So I feel this could be a great addition to DVS tech that we have out here. Now, I saw someone post on one of the DJ sites, like, is this the end of DVS? And I don't really see the point in that question, because even if you're going to use that device, if you're going to use Phase, you'll still be using that on your turntables in combination with Serato or Tractor. So you're still using DVS. The only difference is that the signal is not coming from control vinyl going into the software, but it's coming from that little device on top of your platter. So again, the plus is that you don't need needles. You don't have to worry about tone arms and stuff like that, because that's not needed. I'm definitely going to test that as soon as possible. And if that works, that's going to every gig I do. I know that for a fact. Price point was, I think, $300 or $400, and for that you get a pair. So you have two, and the receiver that you need to connect to your audio interface. So I really like the look of that Phase. Now, beyond that, I believe there was more. I saw some new controllers. Pioneer has a new controller, the DDJ1000. I'll be testing that in a couple of weeks. I have to wait before Dance Fair happens here in the Netherlands. That's coming pretty soon. And Pioneer has a stand there, as they do every year. I've done some things for them at Dance Fair and Amsterdam Dance Event. And they need all their equipment there. As soon as Dance Fair is done, I can get my hands on a lot of the equipment. So the RX2, the DDJ1000, and wow, I forgot the name. They're a new player with the sequencer sampler in there, and some more. They also released a new recorder app. I think it's called Pioneer Rec. And what it does is, if you have an iPhone, you take a lightning cable. If you connect that lightning cable to the USB port that's on top of the Nexus 2 mixer, you can get a digital signal and record the audio from your set digitally into your iPhone on the Rec app. So it sounds pretty interesting. People are always looking for ways to record their sets, and there's a lot of ways you could do that. I have my recorder that I'm using right now to record this audio. I also bring that to some of my gigs and connect it to an output on the mixer, but that's analog, but I'm fine with that. I can still get good quality. But if you can get that digital signal straight from that mixer into that recording app, that could be very good quality. And I believe you can also register extra information. If I'm not mistaken, it also shows you fader movement. So I'm going to look into all of those things pretty soon. and I was excited about that. That DDJ 1000 controller also looked, that looked really cool. So be on the lookout for that. That's going to be in a couple of weeks that I get my hands on that. Now, a quick reminder for people looking to join the new Saturday Super Session Part 7. I'll be announcing that in a couple of weeks, I think in a week or two. And if you're not familiar with the Saturday Super Session, it is my global scratch compilation. I've done 6 so far. I give you guys a beat. You download the beat and then you go home, or you're at home, and you record yourself on video scratching over that beat. Now, you can be a beginner or you could be one of those crazy turntablists with all the skills in the world. It doesn't really matter as long as you master the techniques that you show in that video. So if you just started scratching like a couple of weeks or months ago, and maybe you can only do a baby scratch or simple cut, that's perfectly fine if you can execute that one tight. It has to be good. So if you just started scratching yesterday, this is not for you yet. Anyways, normally I just send out a beat and that's the beat we use. In this case, I invited you guys to join and pick the beat for this session. So if you want to vote for the beat, you have to go to my Instagram. That's djTLM on Instagram. I have a video on there that I posted last week. I display 5 beats, so you can just swipe through them. You can listen to all 5 beats, and in the comment section below, you leave your vote. So beat 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. The beat with the most votes will get picked. So pick the beat that you feel will be best for you to scratch to, and maybe the beat you choose becomes the beat that we'll use. Now, right now, I've seen a lot of votes for all of the beats in there. I see a couple of crowd favorites, so it's pretty interesting to see which beat will win. The winner will be used for that Saturday Super Session, but I can guarantee already that some of these other beats with a lot of votes will be used for some of the future Saturday sessions, my normal Saturday sessions. So as you know, once I use a beat for a normal Saturday session, you can also download that beat afterwards from my SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/djTLM. So whatever the case may be, those beats will be coming your way in the coming months as well. Now, I'll be back next Monday like I am every Monday. You can check out the audio version on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Anchor, and some of the video footage will be available on my djTLMtv channel on YouTube. If you want to check out my free beats and scratch tools, those are also available on soundcloud.com/djTLM. And if you want to ask me any questions, you can find me on social everywhere. The handle is at djTLM, and if you're not comfortable with social, you can use the email djTLMtv at djTLM.com to ask your questions as well. New live Q&A next Monday on Facebook, and a new episode of Share the Knowledge will follow right after that. I'm out for now, guys. Later.